Words of wisdom have been taken in by Leeds, who trail 18-6 as we start the second half. Must say, Steve-o, this Stones Super League, as we get into the second half of the campaign, it has proved so competitive.
Had some tremendous games. Teams willing to put more than 100% effort out in the field. But this is what you can get from dry conditions.
And runs like this from Coe Love.
Oh, that's high.
Carl Hall again.
Well, Cummings has said that he was okay, grabbed him on the shoulder first.
Ian Knott, and there is the substitute in this second half. Number 29, Terry Newton. The hooker has come in. David Hume has reverted then to loose forward. And Terry Newton, the man who escaped the clutches of Warrington, and much to the Warrington club's displeasure, he signed for Leeds right under the nose of the Wilderspool club. The referee says it's the turnover, it's a knock-on. It bounced off the Warrington man's hands, hit the Leeds player on the head. So it's the turnover, because it's on the last tackle.
Tremendous kick though, wasn't it? And you can see there that Cullen says, come and have a dance. Cullen made an impact into the post there. The post still wobbling from that impact.
And Leeds wobbling from the impact because they were trapped in goal by a crunching tackle. It means that Holroyd has to drop out from underneath his own sticks.
Great defence. They really did get into it then. Ian not leading the charge. That really lifts your spirits when the defence can do that. They got off the hook, did Leeds, from the high kick, but the defence put them in.
But it was the fullback, Lee Mayer, Steve-o, was trying to drive the ball away from his own line. Where were the forwards?
Yep. They've been asking that for a long time at Leeds, I'm afraid, this season. But they're not out of it, though.
The way Sculthorpe just picked that ball out of the air, it came back to him from Willie Swan, and almost with his eyes closed, Sculthorpe picked it up. And I think that John Roper had his eyes closed then, because the pass aimed for him hit his back.
They'll play the first knock on, so it'll be, well, I don't know why you're throwing the ball down, young fella, because it'll be your head and feed. As Roper had initiated the first knock on. Harris trying to get it through, and I don't know why he trying to get the ball away. You could see that he was interfered with legally. He tripped up over the man on the ground.
Well, Steve, that didn't, it came off his back.
Yeah, well, he was tripping up over it. One of the players on the floor, I can't see who it was.
Play on though, wasn't it? Anyway, academic the argument now, because Lee Mayer's back in possession for Leeds, who had head and feet at the scrum.
They've got to look towards Tony Kemp now of Leeds. He's got to try to get the forwards driving on and then bring the skills up. We haven't seen much of Graham Holroyd taking on interference at the play of the ball.
David Hume had the ball stolen from him then. He was lying flat on his back. He almost lost his headgear as well.
Far too much attention. Sculthorpe's getting the ball out wide, dragged it clear of Hume.
Sculthorpe's received a ticking off from the referee. Leeds have the penalty.
Well, there's a man that has to start running at the Warrington defence a little bit more, Graham Holroyd. We've seen already this season, even though that Leeds have been going through a pretty bad patch, that he's still got the skills and the ability to break down any defence.
Harmon, whose try gave Leeds so much hope in the first half. And as Andy Farrell said, it's Leeds who have got to score first at the start of this second half. That's Terry Newton.
Well, that's why he's been brought into the fray, so that he can run from the dummy half position, try to suck in those two markers, try to squeeze and open the gap.
Here's Holroyd again. He dabs the ball towards the corner. Race on here. The Warrington man won the race, Richard Hanari. He's pretty quick.
Much better from Holroyd. It was a well-weighted kick too, but Hanari got there first. Golden was steaming in. Good option, but saved by that man.
Forshaw will run this ball back. First tackle comes in from Willie Swan. Newton dummy half. Faimilo, good to see Isini Faimilo back. He has missed no fewer than 33 games for Leeds. His very career was threatened by the retina problem. He's one of the youngsters who've taken his place in the second row. Adrian Morley picks himself up, Terry Newton to the dummy half, and off he goes from the dummy half roll, gets the ball out the back door. It bounces into the arms of Holroyd. 10 metres from the line. Hume. Strong defence again from from Warrington. And this is the last one. Kemp, it was an awful pass.
Well, a complete lack of concentration there by Graham Holroyd. You would have thought that Leeds were leading by about 50 with this sort of pass. What on earth are they thinking about? They get to a point where they want to apply the pressure. And the gasket blows in his brain.
Watson gives it to Cullen. He's grounded 10 metres inside his own half of the field. Watson again. Getting now up towards the halfway line. Ian Knott, Harris, Sculthorpe. Harris again. Gets away from two tacklers. And that's good chase from Hassan. Paul Hume couldn't get the ball in first time. And the kick downfield, all along the ground. That's a great kick. Super kick from Willie Swan.
Intelligent kick too. He realised it wasn't the best pass, it had gone backwards. They lost about 10 metres. So a good kick into the touch, gained them about 20.
Leeds head and feed. 20 metres in from touch these days, of course, in Super League. Gives the feeding team much greater options, both there where Phil Hassan drives it in and on the blind side. And they have a penalty because Hassan was struggling to his feet and Sculthorpe wouldn't let him get to them.
Well, that's two silly penalties that Warrington have given away at the play the ball area and will not please their coach John Dorothy. At 18-6, they should be making sure that applying the pressure a lot more than that. They're losing the discipline.
Forshaw's gone in at dummy half and does well. Closed down in the end. Low penalty count in this match after 48 minutes. Carl Hall brushes Roper out of the way first time, but Henari and Roper stick to the task. Newton is clapping his hands at dummy half. That's Kemp. He helps it wide to Holroyd. Holroyd back on the inside to Hume, who slips the tackle. Does well, David Hume. So a couple of tackles left here as Kemp gets the ball away again to Newton. Newton driving it hard towards the line. Stern Warrington defence. Tackle now is completed. This is Kemp. Back on the blind side to Harman. Strong defence again. Good tackling.
They run the power play, but they knew that Harman was coming back on the angle. But it was good build-up by Leeds. They're a different side this second half when they brought on the hooker Terry Newton. There's a lot more enthusiasm in and around the play the ball area.
I hope you're enjoying this live match here tonight with us on Sky Sports. Our next is right here again on Sky Sports 2 on Sunday, when we bring you London Broncos against Halifax from the Valley. That's the home of Charlton Athletic Football Club. We'll be live from 6 o'clock. And the pre-match entertainment, don't forget, it involves the Bay City Rollers. Remember them, Steve-O?
No.
Oh, you were out of the country when they were top of the pops, were you?
Yes.
Oh, dear.
Can't have been there long then.
Whoops, he was collared then, Willie Swan, by Morley.
It was okay, though. Yeah, it was okay. He committed himself to the tackle.
Strong run from Golden. Still going, Marvin Golden. That's bravery from the Leeds winger.
That's got to be a penalty. The referee applying the advantage.
Lee Mayer. Well, it's a committed opening 10 minutes from this Leeds side. We said that they would have to be first to score. Here's David Hume. And again, they're breaking through the tacklers, getting over the advantage line.
He's working hard, is Hume. But there again we see that Graham Holroyd, all he's doing is just standing and passing rather than taking on the defence.
Clark is taking on the defence now. Sculthorpe was after him and got him. Forshaw is the man who's gone in at dummy half. He gives it to Kemp. That's Familo. What a story it would be if Familo got the try on his return. The ball went forward though. Kemp thinks he's touched down.
Yeah, it was forward. He's claiming that it came off a Warrington player, but Familo's good burst was wasted with a chance to try to get the ball away. It was an impossible pass. There were 2 men in attendance. That's virtually impossible. Maybe it did come off the Leeds player, but the referee Stuart Cummings was in a very good position. But was it intentional? Did
that come off Ian Knott?
Well, it did.
Making the tackle.
Yeah, but was it intentional? See, no. Well spotted. Is that a fine game, Stuart Cummings?
And that could have been a penalty. Weston Harris nearly having the shirt dragged off him by Tony Kemp.
Yeah,
I think Kemp's beginning to lose a little patience.
Yeah, but it's a good job that the referee isn't losing his, is it? Because he's not letting the crowd get to him. But he's going to get that one. Familo says anytime you want. And I can assure you that Paul Sculthorpe wasn't saying, how do you get your hair like that? And maybe Familo was showing him. Scalping. Little smile. And now it's Leeds' turn to... Oh, good quick tap.
Wonderful tap by Harris. And he makes great yards up the middle. Familo was just jogging back to take his place in the defensive line. Here's Sculthorpe, who suffered the penalty. And Warrington now on the 20-metre line after just 2 tackles. Here's Forster attacking Holroyd. Holroyd doing well.
Tremendous thinking by the full-back Easton Harris. He could see that the Leeds defence were just walking back.
That misses out Harris. There's a foot in on it by Cullen, and the ball goes out of play. It was just about half a metre in front of Harris, that last pass.
You can see that the Leeds defence were just hanging around, and for Milo, the man that gave it away, still doesn't realise before Harris has made 20 metres. And then the long ball out wide. Good work by Morley to apply the pressure.
Leeds have the scrum, courtesy of Holroyd. Tackled by Swan. Results during the 23-year unbroken spell in the top flight for these two. Just about even Steven. 23 wins to 22 wins. Leeds with a slight advantage. That all might square up at the end of tonight, unless Leeds can do something in the next half hour or so.
Well, you mentioned 23. Look out for Willie Swan, number 23. 3 tackles on the trot. He's showing that Warrington will still be taking charge of this game. Wonderful effort by the halfback, Swan.
Harris gets away from the fingertips of Hassan. Can't then get away from Kemp, who just delayed him.
This is where Leeds need to be disciplined. Don't give away a silly penalty. They've got to try to force Warrington to kick deep within their own half.
Mark Hilton and Steve-O mentioning Willie Swan, and that's not a bad effort from a scrum half, is it? 14 tackles, 3 of them in quick succession just a few moments ago. Here's Roper, tries to get away from Carl Hall and Golden, and David Hume comes in to finish him off. David Hume lying all over the man has got to be penalised.
Well, we mentioned the lack of discipline. He's been around long enough to realise that we've got to release the man. And there's little doubt that Stuart Cummings had to penalise on this occasion.
Yeah, he's been around David Hume, champion with Widnes a couple of times. And another high tackle. Warrington man is flat out, then it's a red card. And Adrian Morley walks, second time this season, second time on Sky Sports, last at Bradford Bulls. And Adrian Morley knows he's made the biggest blunder of his short career here.
Well, it certainly was high, but I'm not so sure that it was all that heavy and hard. I've seen plenty before this. Well, there's no swinging arm there. I cannot believe that Cummings has gone for him. Well, I feel he's been badly done to there, Adrian Morley. There was no swinging of the right arm. More pressure for Dean Bell, their coach.
Well, it makes it an uphill struggle now, doesn't it, with 12 men and trailing by 12.
Well, I said he'd had a fine game, but I've seen worse than that has not even been penalised during this game, and yet he had no hesitation, Stuart Cummings.
Well, he was right on it, wasn't he? Right in front of him. He went straight to the back pocket and brandished the red card.
It was high, it finished up above the shoulder, but there was no swing in the arm.
Steve-O, there have been a lot of high tackles in this match, though, and we were talking about his patience. It's obviously just snapped. Harris, well, it gets worse for Leeds. Man off and 2 points from the penalty. 20 points to 6. Warrington are ahead. And Leeds supporters unhappy with the decision from the referee.
Well, yeah, it is high, but I'm not so sure that he was swinging into the arm. Let's slow it down. You see, he holds it back. Well, I think the impact there on the ball and then goes straight through. Well, I'm not the merry whistleblower. I have seen worse than that, as Eddie mentioned, during this game. And they've got away with it.
Yestin Harris restarts then. Leeds right up against it now, and Alan Tate has come on. And he is immediately into the action, number 25. He's replaced Lee Mayer, the fullback. And what a time for Alan Tate to come back into the side here, with his team trailing by 14 points and down to 12 men for the remainder of this match. Mind you, it's the sort of decision from the referee that sometimes might galvanise a team. We've seen the 12 men do so well so often in the past. Let's hear what Andy Farrell thinks about all this, because he's on the touchline with Bill.
Andy, first of all, I think you thought that if Leeds were going to get back into this game, they really had to make all that pressure they had earlier on tell.
They did, yeah. One thing they're not doing is holding on to the ball for sets of 6. Not only that, but they're giving away stupid penalties away as well. So with 12 men, I don't think Leeds can come back into this game now.
And yet, sometimes 12 men are harder to play against than 13, aren't they?
Well, yeah, but Leeds backs are against the wall, and I'm sure all the lads, the Reds, are doing it as it is. So you know, it's a tough way home for them now.
Harsh sending off.
I don't know about sending off, but they just have to cut the penalties out.
Cut the errors down. I'm sure that will also be Dean Bell's message to his side, as Harris tries to cut them up this side, but Alan Tate does well. It's a good tackle in on his opposite number. Harris wearing 6 but playing full back tonight. Sculthorpe's grounded on the halfway line. And that's a penalty now to Leeds.
Using the shepherd. Criss-cross.
Well, we talked about it before the match.
You see that Cullen came right through, and behind him was Hilton. And he can't do that. There was no chance that they could get to him.
Harmon drives it in. Stern Warrington defence. Cullen dragging his charges back the 10 metres at the play of the ball. Here's Carl Hall. Terry Newton into the arms of Kemp. Short ball to Alan Tate, who obviously called for it.
The problem is that there's no dummy runner. It was like baby food on that occasion.
Hume to Faimilo. The Widnes connection, or the ex-Widnes connection, is out there for Leeds. with Faimilo, with Tate, and with David Hume. Here's Holroyd, little dab over the top. Almost invention from Holroyd, but read perfectly. He read the script, did Harris, and that could have been another Shepherd.
Oh, beautiful to watch, isn't it? Tremendous stuff. Good option, just didn't get the bounce. You could see that he caught Harris a little bit short there. He had to allow it to bounce. It could have gone anywhere. But what tremendous skills by Justin Harris. Such a talent.
Harry McDermott has returned for Leeds, and Neil Harmon, the man who's gone off. Harris again, out wide it goes. Roper has to take the tackle. Hilton up the middle, good job. That McDermott, I think it was, got an ankle tap on him and he's hurt. It wasn't McDermott, he's on his feet. I'm not so sure. Anyway, Knott gets the ball out wide to Henare, who applies the brakes. Henare, he dropped that. He's lost that. No try. Didn't even go for the video referee's decision there. Stuart Cummins, certain.
Well, it's a bit of an off-spin, this, wasn't it? No chance of getting it down. Did well, though. Just threw it. Yep. Or is that a leg break? I'm not right sure. Not up on that cricket game.
It's Carl Hall who gets to his feet, having made a brave ankle tap and I think got a bang on the head, and he's staggering around. I think he's got a touch of concussion there, Hall.
To his credit, he tightened up his defence in the second half. He got caught on a few occasions in the first 40. Well, he's worked hard, hasn't he, David Hume? He's certainly added a lot more power and punch into this Leeds side.
And it was his brother, number 31, Paul Hume, doing the tackling on him again. Here's Faimilo. He offloads the pass to Kemp, who makes a little room for Holroyd. Here's Kemp again. Clark. Foster wraps him up.
Good defence, but Clark was looking for the second phase of attack and there was none.
So Holroyd hoists the high kick downfield. Harris comes across. Spins the ball across the face of the posts to Henare. Henare's got pace. Henare escapes the clutches again. Can't get away that time. Carl Hall fully recovered from the bang to the side of the head. Here's Harris again. Oh, he just shrugs the would-be tacklers off.
So strong, isn't he? You've got to go low on him. Such a confident player there. We just saw the previous tackle and they kicked through. He threw the long ball. That'll be play on.
The ball went backwards off the fingernails of the Warrington man. Rudd. And here he is again now. Rudd picks himself up, plays the ball to Watson. He finds Mark Hilton.
Hilton knows a way forward, just drive it down the middle. I think Warrington will get into a position perhaps where they use a big kick, and there it comes.
Kick downfield, and Hassan will run this ball out again for Leeds. Gets past Rudd, but he can't get away from Coe Love. Here's Alan Tate. On halfway, Newton's the dummy half. McDermott. Warrington get him at the second attempt. Newton again. Holroyd. Forshaw. Out wide is Hall.
There again we see that this Leeds attack is very static. Graham Holroyd not taking on the defence again. It really applies no great pressure when you do that.
They've lost the ball. Sculthorpe doing well, and he is not. Grounded on halfway. David Hume again with that tackle. Cullen to Willie Swan. To Harris. Space for Harris to exploit up the middle. Looking now for the support. Standing. Ducking under the challenge after challenge. Clark eventually the man who gets to him. Forster to Swan. Love to Cullen. Out wide to Roper. Roper with support from Hinari. Good tackle. Great tackle by Tate.
Sure was.
Felt it too. He got a bang.
Yep.
He's out of the defensive line. Roper, not will go in behind the posts. Ian Knott with a try for Warrington. He's missed the last 4, but he's come back here to claim his 7th Super League try. Not bad for another teenager.
Fine build-up by Warrington. Harris jinking in and out. You can see that Tate is out of the defence, and Roper pops it up to the substitute Ian Knott. But before this, it was great play. But Roper did well, sucked in the 2 defenders. Support play was excellent. That was a great build-up. It deserved a try. The pass from Cullen was absolutely superb. What a fine game this kid's having. Back on the inside from a quick play of the ball. You can see the Leeds defence coming back. They tried everything. He got a bad knock. Did the fullback Alan Tate. But that is wonderful stuff. They play some very attractive football. This Warrington outfit now surely will take the 2 points.
And Yestin Harris with a conversion from bang in front. He has not missed a kick yet tonight. Ian Knott, he was a joint leading scorer for Warrington before he went out of the side injured. And back tonight on the try trail again. So the 12 men of Leeds trailing now by 20 points. Harris restarts. Forshaw runs the ball out again. With a good chase downfield, led by Watson. Here's Hume.
Got through some work, hasn't he, Chris Watson? Great defender. Some nice runs from dummy half. But the highlight at times has been the Warrington defence. They really have been eager. The shock loss to Oldham last week really did rattle them. But they're back to their best now.
Well, they've won 5 of their 6 here and have got up to win late on. John Roper's try against London springs to mind in the dying minutes. The only side to prevail here at Wilderspool so far this season, the league leaders, St Helens. That's play on. That's going to... Oh, well, he's going to say that's going to be 6 to go, but Barry McDermott couldn't get down to pick it up, so surely the referee will play first knock on. It'll be head and feed to Leeds.
Well, did it come off Foster? Either way, the big fella struggled to pick it up. Came off the head of Carl Hall, but did it hit Jonathan Roper first? It was deemed that it came off Roper.
Ian Knott takes his place on the bench. He has been replaced. And let's hear who has come on. It's Bill with the news.
Yeah, double change for Warrington because Ian Knott and Chris Watson have come off, and on have come 21 and 22. A nice pairing, Andy Bennett and Paul Barrow. So the hard workers, Ian Knott and Chris Watson, who's had a very hard-working game for Warrington tonight, have got a well-earned breather, and on have come Messrs Barrow and Bennett.
And Leeds have a penalty bang in front of the posts. Barry McDermott will run it because there's no point at 26-6 down with 12 men to kick 2 points. So they're looking for 4 here with Kemp, and maybe they're looking for 6 if they can get over under the sticks. But Kemp being forced back. Solid, strong defence from Warrington again.
Well, that's the reason why they brought on the 2 substitute. Barrow and Bennett, they were the 2 that went in. Fresh legs, bang. They're into it again. Bennett going low.
And the defence, which was so poor last week at Oldham, has certainly stiffened up this week in training at Warrington. There's no doubt about that. Here's Holroyd. Fires the pass out wide. It bounced off the chest of Hassan, but I think it was forward anyway.
Just a little bit. Well, they've got to start thinking about changing this tactic of using Graham Holroyd just standing and passing the ball out wide. He takes a step, really doesn't take any effort to do it